Okay, let's dive straight in. So I've already opened InDesign. What we want to do is go File, New, Document. We're going to create a two-page file. It's not spread, so we can take off facing pages. I always take this off, actually. I prefer it. The width of a business card is 85 by 55. Margins is 5mm. That's just the space, an idea of how far away from the edge of the page we want to be, because you don't want anything to go sort of closer than 5mm to the edge. Otherwise we risk chopping it off when we're guillotining. And then bleed is 3mm all around. I'll explain that in more detail in a moment. Okay, so there's our two pages. Just zoom out a bit, which is, there's a magnifier. I'm just pressing Option to zoom out. Okay, so there's our two pages. So you've got a red line, which is the bleed line, black line, which is the edge of the page, and then the magenta line, which is the margin marks. You can also drag in these guides from the side, just touching the rulers. You can drag in those sides. Now these rulers aren't there. I think you go View, and you go Hide Rulers. They might be hidden, so just go View, Show Rulers. This is just a way of sort of adding an extra little temporary border, or just a guide really, for when you're setting your file up. So it's a business card. Let's go ahead and click the text box, and we'll call it James Astell, and go Print Production Manager, just as an example. Then let's create another one for the details. Obviously you can do your card however you want. There's contact number James at sustainableprint.co.uk, and then we'll pop down the website address as well. Right, so there you've got a basic layout. Now if you want to just preview that, you can touch this bottom bit here, go preview. It shows you what it looks like once it's trimmed. And I want to change this font. I think we'll go with our company font. Now when you click that, you've obviously got a few options. Whereas I want Railway, which is our font. There it is there, and we'll do a bold. It's just dropped off the page there. Oh. Sorry, that red thing's in the way, that just expands it. Okay, we want to make this regular, so let's just pop that as regular and reduce it to 10. And then this whole lot we can make Railway regular and reduce it to 10. I want the text to be a different colour, so just highlight it, go to swatches, and then we're going to make it a yellow, but I like to make it a bit more of a mustard yellow. Preview that, not really. Okay, there's a mustard yellow. And then Print Production Manager, let's create a new swatch and call this 50% black, call it grey. Okay. So now let's give that a look, see what it looks like. Yeah, happy with that, that looks fine. Probably a bit too high. Again, you can do your views and just sort of, you can actually go bottom and top and go like you can sort of see how far you are from each end. There we go. Anyway, so right, we're on to page 2. Now we want to put a logo in here, so you go File, Place. Here's my logo. So show import options, always select that just in case anything else pops up. Place it. There you go, there's your logo. The reason why it's a bit blurry is because under View, the display performance is typical. This helps speed everything up. So if you want to see what it looks like, just click High Quality. So we'll put it back to typical. Now we want to make sure this is centered, because although those things help, those magenta sort of guides, they lock it in place. Just to make sure, just in case it's off, I like to just go Align up here and go to Align to Page, and then center it horizontally and then center it vertically. There we go. Now we're going to put a colour background in just to show you the importance of the bleed. So there's our box, which is a rectangle tool up here. Currently we've got it set onto a black stroke, which we don't want, so I'll get rid of that. Select Fill, which is that button. We're going to hit magenta, and that's our magenta box. Now obviously we're covering the logo, so just right click and click Arrange, Center Back. We can also put a quick align so it's centered, and then we'll take a look. There we go. Right, now the bleed, now you can see the blue line is beyond the page line. That's because we're actually going to cut down to the page line, and we're using that extra 3mm to make sure that the card doesn't end up like that. So if we're printing a stack of business cards and one is off, you could have them like that if we don't have bleed. So whether it's an image or a colour or anything, even the logo, if it's over the page, really you want to make sure you've got more than 3mm over the page when we come to trim it. So if I go back to the normal view, so we want to make sure it goes all the way to these. Even if it's like that, you know, you could still, that could still shift over. I mean, you know, if you want to avoid anything like that, you want it to look the best. So yeah, that's all ready to go. The only other thing is to make sure that these colours are CMYK. RGB converted to CMYK. Every printer will print CMYK, so if you set it up as CMYK to start with, then you're going to get most accurate colour to the printed version. So if you find an RGB or a lab colour that you really like, it's like this bright neon, you know, you're not going to be able to print that. It's not printable basically. You can print something similar in CMYK, and that would be the version that we'd print. So it's always best to set it up as CMYK, and that's just 100% cyan, that colour in the end. But set it up as CMYK, you kind of know what you're getting that way. Right, now that's all done, we can go File, Export, and we'll go Desktop, Print folder, we're going to call it Business Cards, save it as a print, Adobe PDF print, hit Save. We'll replace that one that already saved, and then you just want to click All Printer Marks and use Document Bleed Settings. Leave it as all, don't click Spreads, but yeah, just like that, press Export. And then you also want to do a preview file for yourself, so Export, Preview, just save it, call it Preview Print, Adobe PDF Print, save, place, and then just go High Quality Print. It will get rid of all these marks, so you want one without marks. The reason why you want one without marks is so when you look at it, you kind of know what you're getting. So there's the preview. That's what you're going to get from the printers, the final piece. And then this is what you're sending to the printers. This is what they'll use to set up and print your file. And there you go.